Welcome back to Dimitri's Garage. Today we're going to take a look at two ceramic spray coatings from Adams Polishes. First, we're going to take a look at their original formula, which has been out on the market for a while, and then we will look at this graphene-infused ceramic spray coating that just came out. Now, we're going to look at how slick both are, we will see if they're both glossy, we will look at the visual appeal, we will also see if they're easy to apply, and finally we will test their durability. So stay tuned and let's find out which of these is the best spray coating. The very first test we're going to do is the ease of application. So we will apply the graphene ceramic spray coating to this side and the ceramic spray coating to the side over here. Now this is a test hood that I purchased from a junkyard. It came in terrible condition. It was sandwiched between other hoods, it was laying on the ground, but I really polished it up and put it into the best shape I could without wet sanding. If you want to take a look at what that took, I will link a video up top, and it's a good example of what waxes can and can't fix. For instance, there are paint chips here that it cannot fix, but it can fill some of the smaller imperfections and make it look better. Now I've left control surfaces at the back of each section that we will not coat. Now when working with coatings, whether it's the little concentrated bottles or spray coatings, I recommend using at the very minimum gloves if you're working outdoors, and indoors I definitely recommend a respirator. If you look at the warnings here, you could see that they are pretty dire. You know, they're talking about how this may be fatal if swallowed and it enters your airways. Now, this mask is a full face shield, so it'll provide you the eye protection that you need. And it also provides you a particle filter, a P100, which is even more protection than these N95 masks that a lot of you have been wearing. And it also contains a second filter in line, which is a organic vapor filter. So this will protect you from your solvents as well as things like acid vapors. If you can smell the solvent, your mask isn't working. Now the instruction for both of these products are to first polish the surface. And I did a 3-step polish using a harsh to soft compound. And what we'll do now is essentially apply a little bit of each one to an applicator, spread it around, give it 2 minutes to cure, and then wipe it off once it's flashed. You'll kind of see it turning a purple rainbowy color as it's ready to be removed. Now we will still use our pass-fail 1-point system, and I'm going to give both of these a point. This is literally dead simple for a coating. Most of the time is spent in polishing, and guys, that is why they charge you so much money when you go to a professional detailer. If you're going to do it yourself for a whole car, I would give yourself at least 1 day just for the polish. It may even take a whole weekend or more depending on how bad the vehicle is. That is normal for any coating. Guys, before we get started with the next test, I wanted to remind you that I do have the links to the tools and products we're testing today down below in the description. They're Amazon affiliate links, and I get a very small commission whenever you click through and buy anything. It doesn't even have to be the product I'm linking to. Now, it does help keep the channel afloat, and furthermore, I wanted to remind you that there is also a link to my website, again, down below in the description, with a table of all the prior products we have tested. You should bookmark that, and that way you can review in the future what the different products are and how they stack up against each other. Now let's get back to our testing. This is my gloss testing station. Here we will use my gloss meter to determine how much glossier the surfaces get from the application of the product. Now this panel is 90 gloss units with nothing on it. We've applied the graphene version of the Adams spray coating on this side, and we've applied the traditional Adams spray coating over here. So now we're going to turn on my gloss meter. We're going to calibrate it just in case. We're going to give it a second to make sure it stays on 104. That's perfect. And then we're going to take 5 readings. Let's start with the standard coating. That's really good, actually. 92.4. Let's do another reading over here. Call that 92. Let's see. 92.7, that's insane. 91.3.4 even. Whoa, that's crazy in the middle there. 93.7, wow. That might be a record. Make sure we're still calibrated. We still are. We're going to take this number, we're going to divide it by 5. Wow, 92.4. That's insane. That may be a record for anything so far. Now, with this test, what we always do is we give 1 point for every gloss unit over 90, and we subtract a point for every gloss unit under 90. So in this case, we're going to award 2.4 points to the original spray coat. That's an excellent score. I don't know if it's a record, but it's definitely up there. Get our unit reset here. Make sure it's still reading at 104. And let's start testing the graphene. 93 even, wow. Whoa, 94.2. 93.2, that is really crazy. 94, wow. Wow, 94.1, that's really insane. So let's divide that by 5, 93.7. That just has to be a record. There's no way that's not a record. So we're going to add 3.7 points for the graphene version. Both sides of the panel have had a full 24 hours to cure, which is more than the recommended 4 hours. We're now going to talk about slickness and the visual appeal of these products. To remind you, we have the graphene version of the coating from Adams here, and we have the regular traditional version on this side. I want to start talking about slickness. Now, slickness is pass-fail, just like ease of application, so I'm gonna rub my hand here and determine if I feel like the surface is slick. I wouldn't say that this is the slickest surface. That Mustang back there has the Wolfgang Deep Gloss sealant on it, and I would say it is slicker than the surface here. So for the graphene-infused ceramic spray from Adams, definitely 1 point, it is slick. Now when we're looking at the regular traditional surface, it is slick, but it's a little more grabby than the graphene when I compare the two. I'm still gonna give it a pass. It's definitely better than bare paint. Now let's talk about the visual appeal. This one is difficult to quantify. Cameras are just not great at picking it up. Both of these products do have a line that I could see with my eyes now that I've removed the tape. Really, both sides showed a significant improvement. So I'm gonna walk around handheld and hopefully show you guys what the two surfaces look like and where the line is. Now the line is going to be like right over here, and I don't know if you can really see it in the camera as is. I will vary the lighting momentarily to hopefully find you a good angle. Hopefully you could see it. It's kind of right there in the middle of the viewfinder. We'll walk over to the graphene side, where I think the line is a little less striking personally, but I still like the quality on the treated side better. I'm gonna turn that overhead light off, and hopefully that difference will let us see the line more accurately in the viewfinder. The graphene formula is actually kind of neat. It's UV reactive. So let's take a look and see if I could show you the line using UV light. There's the line right there. You can actually see the difference in the UV reactivity. If you take a look here, versus the paint over here, there's way less reaction to the UV. It's actually maybe a little less UV reactive where the product is than where it's not, so maybe you can see a little bit of a line. Not sure if it's visible on the camera. So what's my final verdict? I think both look great. Maybe a little nicer on the original to my eye, but both are gonna get a pass for visual appeal. If you've made it this far into my video, I would love it if you click the subscribe button. Now, if you're already a subscriber, I really appreciate you. And I also love it when you guys leave me comments and likes. Those comments and likes are user engagements which drive the YouTube algorithm to promote my video to other people. And I really love interacting with all of you. It makes me feel like I have my own community when we talk together in the comments. So guys, I've got the test panel outside and it's been raining, so I'm kind of doing it halfway in the garage. Luckily the rain also cooled things down, so I'm not losing air conditioning. Let's first see how hydrophobic the two are. So let's look at the graphene first. If you weren't able to see the control line before, I bet you can now because it's the really unhydrophobic part. Now it still sheets well because it is a highly polished surface. Let's take a look at the traditional one. Looks very hydrophobic to me. I can't see anything to complain about. Now we're going to be using the original Adams car shampoo that I use for all of these tests, and we'll be using it with the Adams foam cannon to apply the shampoo. The way the scoring in this test works is we will give 1 point for every wash until the wax or coating in this case fails. So we'll apply the soap, we'll shampoo the two sides, and then we'll rinse it off and see if it's still beating and still working as intended. We're also going to apply some to our rag. And we do a basic wash. Now we rinse off and see if the coatings are still working. Looks like they're both working pretty well still. I'm going to continue to make passes, and I'll occasionally stop and give you an update. So 5 in, I think they're both performing very well. I really can't tell the difference. Rinse number 10. Let's take a look and see how they're performing. Man, that graphene formula is a champ. I mean, the regular one's working well too. Actually better than the UV one that I tested before. But that graphene one, it's like it hasn't really taken a hit at all, maybe just the slightest little dent. Let's look at where it meets the untreated. Now let's compare to the original. Guys, I'm ready to do our 40th wash, and let's see what it looks like 40 in. Time to rinse. Both sides are still clearly working, and you might have noticed I took the blue painter's tape off. It kept flopping around. I think maybe the solvent in the ceramic kind of ate through the tape. Let's take another quick look and see how both are performing. Let's look at the original ceramic spray first. As you can tell, it's definitely degrading and it is slowly starting to fail, but it's still working. I mean, that's still acceptable. Now let's take a look at the graphene version. That's just amazing, and I don't know if it's going to wind up going to 70 plus like the Soft 99 Fuso did, but so far at 40, it's barely taken a hit. It's really crazy. I'm going to keep going until we have more results. I'm now up to number 60. All right, let's rinse this one off. We can see that there has been another reduction in performance on the original ceramic spray coating. I would say the graphene is like the original was maybe 30 or so washes ago. So we are now ready to do our 70th wash. This is where Soft 99's Fuso finally got to a state that I wouldn't consider serviceable. And I think we're really close on the Adams ceramic original spray coating. Let me show you how the hydrophobic properties look when you compare the two. To me, that has failed. I would never keep that on my car. Let's take a look at the graphene. It's still killing it. Guys, I am so super tired, but I think I'm finally at a spot where I'm gonna be able to call the graphene version. And we're about to do number 113, and I think this is gonna be it. I had to fill up a second canister to get through this. Let's rinse off 113. Now let's look at the hydrophobic properties of both of these. And you can see that they are both dead. They have huge dead spots. I could no longer consider this good for my car. It is time to wrap up today's video. And boy, was it a shoulder burning, arm burning video, because these are insanely durable products. I just couldn't believe it. Back-to-back records broken. First by the traditional, original ceramic spray coating from Adams, and then by this new graphene infused one, which just blew everything away with 113 washes. Really crazy. And not only that, they broke gloss records. Both these products, and I checked, are the glossiest that we've tested so far. Truly, really cool products. I'm not exactly sure why the UV version of this one did not live up to the same standards. I may have to retest it in case I did something wrong, but I'm pretty sure I tested it right. It was the same process that we use today. I just didn't get the same durability, and the gloss wasn't quite there. It was good gloss, just not as good as this, and definitely not as good as this graphene one. Now, both these guys weren't quite as slick as something like the Wolfgang, but they were very pretty to look at, especially when you saw that contrasting line with your eyes, and I'm not sure how well it'll work out in the video, but man, it makes a huge difference. I really hope you found this video informational and you enjoyed watching it. If so, I'd love it if you subscribe or left me a nice comment, and of course, share this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys again real soon.